Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to The United Stand, your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. I'm excited and it's not because of the Bundesliga. I'm excited about the Bundesliga to have some football back, but we've got a video popping. It's popping, it's grinding, it's doing all those things. It's on The United Stand this afternoon. It's a link up with 442s. It's funny, I've seen it. I can't wait for it to premiere on the show a little bit later on, but very exciting. The McTominay one, I'm clipping it and putting it on Twitter. It's great, but let's crack on. Lots to talk about this morning. Friday as well. Bundesliga as well tomorrow. Looking forward to that. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's start off with Sancho though. We're talking Sancho, Koulibaly, James Maddison, Jack Grealish, Vinicius. Quite a few to get through actually. So we'll start off with Sancho because he's playing tomorrow, isn't he, in the Bundesliga. So let's talk about Sancho. Why not? We've not done that constantly for the last 6 weeks. Evening Standard are coming out and basically saying that Manchester United will look to pay between 60 and 70 million pounds for Jadon Sancho. You've gone too low, bro. You've gone too low. Get out. You're not. You're wrong. It's we won't get him for 60 to 70 million. There will be a reduction in the transfer market, and I think even Dortmund and most clubs around the world are now accepting that. They're totally right to say they want 100 million, and I think they'll keep saying that, or 90 million, whatever you want to think it is. But a realisation will hit. I mean, look, the Bundesliga comes back tomorrow. It might not stay back. There might be an increase in the infection rate in Germany. They might have to suspend again. That's a very real thing. I don't think people understand that. It's the same with the Premier League. We might bring it back, but it's bringing Premier League football or the Bundesliga back is not going to be the cause of the infection rate going up. You're in the hands of what's happening nation and globally. So, you know, if it doesn't get completed, then the financial models of clubs drop even further. The reason clubs are trying to get back is, one, to complete their leagues, but also to complete their requirements to get money into the club through the TV deals, etc., etc. That might not happen, and that might drive prices down further. But I think even if we get the Premier League completed and the Bundesliga gets completed, there will still have to be a readjustment of fees. And Dortmund will want to keep Sancho for another year, but I think most football clubs, in my experience, and this is through the media, this is through listening to interviews, through talking to people as well, most clubs don't want to keep a player if they're adamant they want to go. You can do it, and there are examples of it being done in the past, but it's not a good idea to force a player to stay at the club. And I saw Gary Neville this morning on Sky Sports talking to Tevez's agent and saying there was a real change in him when he didn't get the contract that he wanted. He changed in the dressing room, and that impacted on him. And this is the case. This is human beings. So Dortmund, if Sancho wants to go to United and United wants Sancho and Dortmund say we're not letting you go for 100 million unless it's 100 million, Sancho will probably knock on the door and say you're asking for a fee that's unrealistic in this market, and we will get him for what we want. I don't think we'll get him for 60, 70 or 70 million. I'll take that on board. I'll take it on board. It could drop that low. But what did I say a couple of weeks ago? I believe United will not pay anything more than 85 to 89 million. We will not pay what we paid for Pogba. We will not break the record for Jadon Sancho. And there's a number of reasons for that, but we won't. I don't think it will go down to 70. If you want to get in the comments and have a guess, and we can all come back and check it in a few weeks' time, but we won't pay any more than £90 million, and it could drop further. It depends on the circumstances in the world at the moment. Another person who's been spoken about in relation to fees is Jack Grealish. The Mirror have been reporting that Manchester United will double his wages to bring him to Manchester United. Now, it's not much of a story, and it's from the Mirror, but what interested me about this is that they're saying that we'll double his wages to 60,000. So Jack Grealish is only on £30,000 a week. And the reason I wanted to highlight this is I don't know what Jack Grealish is on at Aston Villa. I don't really know what Aston Villa and Leicester and Bournemouth and clubs like that pay their wages, because I'm a Manchester United fan, so I monitor what Manchester United do. I know that Angel Gomez wants around £30,000. Well, if Jack Grealish is being paid £30,000 a week at Aston Villa, he's their star player, he's one of the best attacking midfielders in the Premier League, and he's on £30,000 a week, but Angel Gomez wants that. It somewhat makes you less sympathetic to those wage demands. And look, supply and demand. Manchester United make a lot more money than Aston Villa, so you expect a bigger wage. But would Aston Villa give Angel Gomez £30,000 a week? And he would be their first team, and would he be good enough to play in their first team? Question mark. Is Jack Grealish on that at Aston Villa and one of the best midfielders in the Premier League? Yes. you know, the financial disparity in the Premier League is ridiculous, and on some levels I think Manchester United are right to say we're not paying you that. But then you've got to factor in, well, he's out of contract, a club's not going to have to pay a transfer fee so they can boost his wages up, which is why he should always get the contracts done before they run down. Because if you're looking at Angel Gomez and you're Chelsea, you might think he's only worth 15 grand a week, 20 grand a week, but then you'll give him 30 grand a week because you haven't got to pay 10 million transfer fee because he's out of contract. So it's all swings and roundabouts. But going back to Jack Grealish, £60,000 a week. I mean, look, that Phil Jones is on 80, I think. Jesse Lingard's on 100. Ashley Young was on 120. So Grealish, it's odd, isn't it? I mean, look, Jack Grealish to Manchester United, whether it'll happen or not if Pogba stays, and I think it's more likely, as I said, that Pogba will stay now. I don't know whether that happens, but Grealish, £60,000 a week seems a little bit cheap for me in comparable to what we pay. But if he's on that little money at Villa, then, you know, double your wages, he might be quite happy with that. Another player I want to talk about as well, Koulibaly. Now, where this fits in with Manchester United, I don't know, but we keep getting thrown back in. Le 10 Sport talking about him yesterday and saying that United are going through the gears for Koulibaly now. There was also talk of Liverpool being at the head of the race. Talk from Italy, Gazzetta dello Sport, saying that Koulibaly wants a new challenge. He's wanted a new challenge for the last couple of days. He's almost in an unhappy relationship and says, you know, he's one of those people who says, I'm leaving her or him. I'm leaving him. I've had enough. I'm leaving him. I've been unhappy for years. I'm leaving him. And then a year later, you have the same chat down the same pub. I tell you what, this time I mean it. I'm leaving him. You're not. Maybe he is about to go this time. I think in relation to Koulibaly, he's that little bit older. I mean, he's 28, I think, now. No doubt he's one of the best centre-backs in the world. No doubt he would. I think he would do very well in the Premier League. But the stumbling block is going to be the fee. And Napoli become the Dortmund and Koulibaly becomes the Sancho, and it's what you can do. And the reality is, Napoli do need to get real, but they don't. Like, Napoli are basically demanding a fee the same as Jadon Sancho. What's that all about? But you know, it's a seller's market. It always has been. But will it be a seller's market? Koulibaly, to me, I don't think United are looking at this sort of a player for many reasons. It's a lot of money for a position that's probably not the major priority this summer. And I think they'll be looking for somebody a little bit younger. Koulibaly would come in and be the senior centre-back. When we've got our senior centre-back, it's Harry Maguire. Whether you like that or not, it is. So I don't think we'd go for a senior centre-back to go with Harry Maguire. Will Liverpool come in for him? I mean, Liverpool's defence, I hate to say it, but Liverpool's defence would be delightful with Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Koulibaly, Van Dijk and Robertson. That would be, if it isn't already, the best back five in the world. But I do think that Koulibaly is more likely to go to London, i.e. I think Mourinho would love to have him. He did bid for him when he was United manager and it didn't happen. I think he will try and get him again because Mourinho's Spurs are defensively poor. But Mourinho manager builds on defence. So I think he will want a Koulibaly. Whether they can find the funds to do that, I don't know. Maybe a Chelsea. But I don't think Koulibaly comes to United. But I do expect we will be talking about him more and more with United because I think we will be used. We definitely bid before him a couple of years ago. We potentially do want a centre-back. And United make more interest in a transfer, don't they? So I think we will be linked to him. I would like us to sign him. But I don't think that we will be signing Koulibaly. James Maddison, interesting. I saw Thierry Henry yesterday speaking about him at some event for Puma, saying that, you know, you need the arrogance, he needs to believe in himself, don't let people say he's a big head and all that. Well, yeah, I do agree with that, but I think James Maddison has dropped off a little bit, and I think the loss of Ndidi for a little period of time hurt Maddison and hurt Leicester. But I don't think when you when you compare Maddison's stats to Jack Grealish stats, I'm not talking silly stats here. I'm talking goals and assists because they're what matter. They lead to direct point accumulation on the league table for your team. Goals and assists win your points, and Jack Grealish has got better Premier League goal and assist stats than James Maddison, yet he's in a team that's fighting relegation, whereas Maddison's in a team that's fighting third. I think Maddison needs to do more, is what I'm saying. And when you bring it to the Maddison, and there's no doubt that United like Maddison, and there's no doubt that Manchester United would like to sign Maddison, and I actually think if both players were gettable, if Grealish and Maddison were £50 million, we would go for Maddison. I think the fact that Maddison's priced higher than Grealish is the reason we're going for Grealish. But, you know, many people would say, well, Grealish is a better suit for us anyway because he's a fighter. He plays in a relegation side. He's come up from the Championship and he does get goals and assists. He's used to being kicked. He's used to being a victim of the crowd. He's used to lots of, pressure, and that's what you need at United. It's a step up. For Matt, and I do actually think there is something in that in Maddison. I think Maddison's a great player, but I think Maddison needs to, and I think this is what Thierry Henry was saying really. He basically needs to do what Grealish has done. He needs to take the team on his shoulders. He needs to, I don't think he hides, but I think he plays a team game a lot. And he comes in and flits in and out of games. I think he needs to take control of that Leicester side. He's got the talent to be one of the best midfielders in Europe, but at the moment I feel he's fallen short a little bit, and I think that's cost him his move to Manchester United because he's more expensive than Grealish. But also I don't think he's achieved what he needed to achieve. And I tell you what, watch something else. If the Premier League does come back, Chelsea fans don't want it back because they're worried that we're going to catch him. Well, we will. But Chelsea fans, I wouldn't be that worried. I'll say this now. Man United, Chelsea, 3rd and 4th, Leicester drop out. Watch it. It definitely can happen. Leicester are on the plummet. I know that they don't deserve to, well, you deserve to be where you deserve to be at the end of the season, but Leicester have been in the top 4 for most of this season. I think they've been in 3rd for most of this season. They're even 2nd for a while. They could drop out the top 4, and a lot will depend on Maddison. And who's to say James Maddison doesn't take this, what my point of this is, who's to say James Maddison doesn't take this little break as an opportunity to review where he's at. Back in September, he was hinting about United. We were talking about United. We really thought we were going to get him. That's dropped off, and Jack Grealish has overtaken him. If I was Maddison in this gap, I'd be working hard and I'd be thinking, I've got 9 games to come back, make Leicester get Champions League football, take control of that team a little bit more, and who knows what happens, because 9 games is quite a lot. It can change very quickly, and who knows, in August we might be saying Maddison's the one we want. The market's dropped. Leicester need to sell. You just don't know. But he's got to do more, I think, James Maddison. Somebody who does need to do more time at Benfica, Carlos Vinicius, the striker we were talking about a couple of days ago, Brazilian, 25, plays for Benfica, quite tall, although his main attributes are he's left-footed, goal-scoring, poaching, bit of a fair player, creator. United been looking at him, but Benfica coming out from Ojogo, you'll know all of these, Ojogo, Record, there's a few others. We all know the outlets because we followed it for Bruno. They're saying that Benfica want to keep him for another year, so he's likely to be staying there for another year. I mean, the striker options for United are interesting. I still think, and I saw somebody on about it this morning, I still think United's priorities in relation to transfers are Jadon Sancho, Jude Bellingham and Jack Grealish, and one of those depends on whether Pogba stays or goes. But I would like to think that if Pogba stays, it's Sancho and Bellingham. I don't expect us to do anything else, but what I would say is, apparently we want a CDM, apparently we want a centre-back, apparently we really want a striker. So, is Grealish any of those? No. Is Sancho any of those? So there may be more coming to the plate. I think if I was Manchester United, I would treat it like an all-you-can-eat buffet. You can walk in with your big plate, you can take, your chow mein, and you can take, a few prawn crackers, go and eat them, and I tell you what, if you're still hungry, go and take a few more. And I think that's what United need to do. Just see what their appetite is. Take your time. Yes, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, but take your time on it. And I think United have certainly got the plate big enough, and they've certainly got the funds to pay for it. So I think that's what United need to do in relation to that. Anything else I want to talk to you about? Koulibaly, Grealish, Vinicius, Aaron Wan-Bissaka better than Trent Alexander-Arnold. We'll do that at 8 o'clock. Maddison, Sancho, 4-4 Tunes. Yes, subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, and watch out for the 4-4 Tunes link up with the United stand. It's funny, it's banter, it's tongue-in-cheek. I really enjoyed doing it. I was so privileged to be able to be involved. I actually wrote a couple of the scenes myself, so you'll see them all coming out hopefully mid-afternoon today. 8 o'clock tonight live on the United. Actually, I think it's 7 o'clock tonight night. Watch out for that. It might be a 7 o'clock live tonight because I've got to do something at 8, but I might do 8. Anyway, get your comments in below. Lots to talk about. Have a great day. Smash a like, and I'll speak to you all very soon. And remember, tomorrow, Bundesliga watch-along, Dortmund versus Schalke. It's on the Mark Goldbridge That's Football channel. Make sure you've subscribed to that one as well. Speak to you in a bit.